Here's the thing about kindness. It usually shows up at the worst possible time. Angel, we're already late. Jessica Thompson said this at exactly 6:47 p.m. on a Friday in August, when their beat-up Honda Civic was wheezing down Route 85 outside Atlanta, when they were supposed to pick up their mom from the hospital 13 minutes ago, when they had approximately zero time to stop for anything. And yet, look at him, Angel said, pointing at the stranded Mercedes on the shoulder. He has no idea what to do. Welcome back. If you're ready to hear the whole story, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow I will be giving you another story just as crazy as this one, and you don't want to miss it. Now let's get into it. Jessica slowed down. Not because she wanted to. Because her sister was right, and they both knew what their father would say if he could see them right now. If you can help, you help. The man pacing beside the Mercedes looked exactly like you'd expect a billionaire to look when everything money could buy had suddenly become useless. Expensive suit. No signal on his phone. Flat tire. Complete helplessness. Traffic rushed past him like water around a stone. Friday evening. Everyone going somewhere. Nobody stopping. We don't have time, Jessica said again. But her foot was already on the brake. Angel was already unbuckling her seatbelt. We have enough time to be human. And that's how it started. Two girls who could barely afford gas stopping to help a man who probably spent more on his watch than they made in 6 months. Excuse me, sir. Need some help. The man, Israel Adeyemi, they'd learn later, though the name meant nothing to them, looked at them with surprise. Then hope. Then something like embarrassment. You know how to change a tire? He asked. Jessica was already kneeling by the flat, running her hands over the rubber. Our dad taught us before he deployed. Past tense. Deployed. Both words carrying weight. Israel noticed. You could see it in his eyes. He understood what deployed plus taught plus past tense meant. 18 minutes later, the tire was changed. Israel's wallet was out. $800 in cash fanned in his hand. Please. Let me pay you. We're good. But I insist. We didn't do it for money. Israel stared at them. At their taped-together glasses and worn-out shoes and the car that was more rust than metal. At these two young women who clearly needed money refusing money because, why? Then why? He asked. Because you needed help, Angel said. That's enough reason. They were gone before he could argue. Honda sputtering back onto the highway, leaving Israel standing there with useless money in his hands. In the car, Jessica asked quietly, think Dad would be proud? Angel squeezed her sister's hand. Both palms grimy with tire grease. Yeah, Jess. I think he'd be real proud. They drove toward their regular life. The diner, their mother, their tiny apartment, their huge student loans, their impossible dreams. They'd helped someone. That was it. That was everything. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that 24 hours later, everything would change. A Bentley would show up at their door. And Israel Adeyemi would teach them something their father couldn't, that sometimes kindness doesn't just travel forward. Sometimes it circles back. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to that morning. To the apartment. To the eviction notice on the table and the car that wouldn't start and the moment when Angel and Jessica had to decide, keep surviving or keep being human. To the moment before everything changed. Friday, 5:47 a.m. The alarm screamed in the two-bedroom apartment on Atlanta's south side. Angel's hand shot out, silencing it before it could wake Jessica. Too late. Her sister was already sitting up, rubbing her eyes. Their room, twin beds from Goodwill, a dresser with one drawer that stuck, walls bare except for a single photo. Their mother Patricia's bed in the other room was already empty, covers pulled tight. She'd left for her 6 a.m. shift at Grady Memorial's cafeteria an hour ago. On the fridge, a note in Mom's handwriting, "Love you girls. Left oatmeal. Don't forget rent is due Monday. Mom. Rent. $950. Their combined bank balance. $1,100. Angel made coffee in a pot held together with electrical tape while Jessica spread her accounting textbook across the kitchen table, highlighter moving across pages about tax codes and ledger balances. You think we'll ever actually use these degrees? Jessica asked. Angel didn't answer. They both knew the statistics for girls like them, first-generation college students working 2 jobs while taking classes. The dropout rate was brutal. Breakfast was oatmeal split 3 ways. Mom's portion already packed in Tupperware for her lunch. At 7:15, they headed for the car. Angel turned the key. Nothing. The Honda refused to start, 3rd time this week. Come on, baby. Please. Not today. Jessica already had the hood up, checking battery connections their father had taught them years ago. Tap the starter. Jiggle the wire. Prayer. The engine caught. They both exhaled. Atlanta Metropolitan State College by 8 a.m. Angel in nursing, following mom's footsteps but aiming higher, RN not cafeteria. Jessica in accounting, wanting to help people manage money, avoid the traps their family had fallen into. Both on partial scholarships. Both working to cover the rest. Their professor mentioned an internship opportunity. Unpaid. They couldn't afford unpaid anything. During lunch, Jessica pulled out a worn photograph. Their father, Sergeant Marcus Thompson, in dress uniform. Taken before his 3rd deployment to Afghanistan. The one he didn't come back from. 7 years ago, Angel was 15, Jessica was 13. His last words echoed, "If you can help, you help." That's not negotiable. That's what makes us human. By 2 p.m., both girls were at Rosie's diner. Mom had already been there since 11, her 2nd job. They worked the 2 to 6 shift before evening classes. Burnt coffee. Small tips. Truckers and construction workers who sometimes left spare change, sometimes nothing. Mrs. Rosie, 70-something and kind, let them take leftover food home. "Y'all are good girls," she'd say. "Your daddy raised you right." Evening classes, 6:30 to 9 p.m. Both exhausted. Angel's hands smelled like fryer grease no matter how much she scrubbed. Jessica's eyes burned from reading in bad light all day. But they pushed through. Dad's voice in their heads, "Education is the one thing they can't take from you." By 9:30 p.m., they were back in the Honda, coughing down Route 85 to pick up Mom from the hospital. She'd been on her feet for 16 hours. "The car's not going to make it much longer," Jessica said. "It has to. We don't have a choice." They calculated silently. Rent Monday. Car repairs $400. Jessica's textbooks next semester $300. Mom's blood pressure medication $85. The math never worked. And then they saw the Mercedes. Israel pressed his key fob. The Mercedes trunk opened with a whisper-quiet click. Inside, pristine spare tire that looked like it had never touched pavement, jack still wrapped in factory plastic, tools gleaming like jewelry. Angel and Jessica exchanged a glance. This man had never changed a tire in his life. Israel stood watching, hands in his pockets, uncomfortable with his own uselessness. "What are your names?" he asked. "Angel. This is my sister, Jessica." "I'm Israel. Israel Adeyemi." The name meant nothing to them. They were already working, Angel pumping the jack, Jessica guiding the spare into position with the efficiency of people who'd been fixing things together their entire lives. They moved like choreographed dancers. Years of necessity had made them a team. "Here, under the frame, not the body," Jessica said, positioning the jack. "Otherwise you'll dent it." Angel attacked the lug nuts. "Star pattern, like Dad taught us. Keeps the pressure even." 6:52 p.m. 7 minutes in. "Halfway done." "Where were you headed?" Israel asked. "To pick up our mom," Angel said, arm straining as she loosened another nut. "She's finishing her shift. I was heading to Atlanta. Important meeting at 7:30. Israel checked his watch. "I'm going to miss it." Jessica glanced at her own watch. $1.15 from Walmart, battery dying. "It's 7:02. Atlanta's 40 minutes. You might make it if you drive fast." Something shifted in Israel's voice. Vulnerability. Hope. "You really think I can make it? If you leave now, yeah." By 7:05, the tire was changed. 18 minutes total. Jessica wiped her greasy hands on jeans that were already dirty from 12 hours of living. Their work uniforms for the diner were in the back seat. They'd have to change in the bathroom again. Mom would understand. She always did. Israel had been watching them work. Really watching. He saw Jessica's glasses held together with tape. Angel's shoes with the sole flapping loose. Their Honda Civic coughing exhaust behind them like it was sick. The weariness around their eyes, that particular exhaustion that comes from working multiple jobs while trying to build something better. Their efficiency wasn't a hobby. It was survival. These girls had changed many tires because they'd had to. Israel pulled out his wallet. Please. Let me pay you. How much? Angel shook her head before he could open it. We're good. But you just saved me. This meeting, it's worth millions. I insist. He was pulling out bills now. Hundreds. A thick stack that seemed to glow in the dying light. Angel and Jessica both saw it. $800, maybe more. Enough to fix their car. Pay for Jessica's textbooks. Cover Mom's blood pressure medication for months. Keep them afloat a little longer. Israel held the money out, bills hanging in the humid air between them. The girls stared at it, not with greed, but with the bone-deep exhaustion of people who knew exactly what that money could do. Who'd been calculating survival in their heads for years. Who understood the weight of every dollar. Then Jessica said simply, "We didn't do it for money." Israel froze. Then why? Angel heard her father's voice as clear as if he was standing there. If you can help, you help. That's not negotiable. That's what makes us human. She was 13 again, watching Dad give Mrs. Chen down the hall their last $20. Why? She'd asked. We need it too. Dad had smiled. Need and desperation are different things. We're not desperate yet. She is. Then came the memory she tried not to touch, the year after Dad didn't come home. Afghanistan. IED. Closed casket funeral. Mom unable to work for 2 months, grief crushing her like a physical weight. They were going to lose the apartment. Then the neighbors showed up. Mrs. Rodriguez from 3C brought $400 in cash. Your husband fixed my car for free once. Mr. Patterson from 1A paid their electric bill for 3 months. Marcus helped me move my mother into hospice. The Korean family from 4B brought groceries every week. He taught my son to change oil. Never charged us. The whole complex, the whole neighborhood, people Dad had helped over the years, kept the Thompson family afloat. Mom had sat them down after the funeral. Your father left us something more valuable than money. He left us a community that cares. Because he cared first. Jessica had cried. But I want him back. Me too, baby. But since we can't have that, we have this. We have people who love us because he loved them first. Angel looked at Israel now, at the money still hanging in the humid air. Because you needed help, she said. That's enough reason. Israel stared at them, really looked for the first time. Saw the taped glasses, the worn shoes, the exhaustion in their eyes. Saw their poverty. Then saw their dignity, standing straight, refusing money they desperately needed. He saw something he'd forgotten existed. I can't just... Israel started. You can, Jessica interrupted, already walking to their car. And you should hurry. Traffic's going to be terrible. Angel followed. Drive safe, Mr. Adeyemi. Hope your meeting goes well. They were in the Honda before he could form another word. Jessica turned the key. The engine sputtered, coughed, somehow caught. As they pulled back onto Route 85, Angel glanced in the side mirror. Israel Adeyemi stood by his Mercedes, wallet still open, watching them disappear. Think he'll make his meeting? Jessica asked. If he leaves now, yeah. Pause. Think Dad would be proud? Jessica's voice cracked on the word. Angel squeezed her sister's hand. Both palms grimy with tire grease. Yeah, Jess. I think he'd be real proud. They drove toward Rosie's diner where Mom would be exhausted from covering their shift. Where tips would be small and coffee would be burnt. Where they'd serve truckers until midnight, drive home, collapse, wake up for 8 a.m. classes. Same cycle. Different day. Neither thought about the Mercedes or Israel Adeyemi or what might happen next. They'd helped someone. That was enough. That was everything. Behind them, Israel stood in the fading Georgia light, watching their taillights fade. He looked at the money in his hand. $800 they'd refused. Money they clearly, desperately needed. Then at his watch. 7:06 p.m. If he left now, he might make it. He got in his Mercedes and drove toward his meeting. But he didn't forget. Israel Adeyemi had not built a billion-dollar empire by forgetting the people who helped him. Those girls had just changed more than his tire. They'd reminded him what actually mattered. Israel burst into the conference room at Paramount Tower at 7:51 p.m., 21 minutes late. The board members looked up. Relief mixed with annoyance. Richard Chen, his competitor, sat at the far end with a smug smile that said he'd already won something. Mr. Adeyemi, we were about to proceed without you. The $800 million acquisition. 8 months of negotiations. Final signatures. Done deal. Except his lateness had given Chen leverage. $850 million, Chen said smoothly. Or I walk. The board members leaned forward. Israel, where were you? He should have been focused. This was $800 million. But he kept seeing Angel and Jessica. Their hands covered in grease. Their refusal of money they desperately needed. Because you needed help. That's enough reason. The simplicity of it haunted him. It's still a good deal, one board member urged. Israel stared at the contract. Thought about 2 girls who'd changed his tire for free. Who worked multiple jobs and refused payment. While he sat in a tower negotiating millions over 20 minutes. Richard, Israel said suddenly. When's the last time you helped someone? Chin blinked. Excuse me. Helped someone. No benefit to you. Just helped. Chin laughed. Is this a joke? Answer the question. Mr. Adeyemi, are we here to discuss philosophy or close a deal? Israel looked around the table. 8 men in expensive suits. Angel's eyes filled. Rosie, we can't. You can and you will. Your daddy fixed my air conditioning 3 years ago. Refused payment. Said, it's too hot for anyone to work in this heat. I've owed him ever since. Another person Dad had helped. His legacy still keeping them alive. With Rosie's $200, they now had $350. Still $600 short. Still couldn't fix the car. Still drowning. But afloat one more day. Saturday, 4 p.m. Angel served coffee to truckers. Jessica washed dishes. Both exhausted. Neither knew that in 13 minutes, everything would change. Neither knew a gleaming black Bentley was pulling up to their apartment complex. Neither knew Israel Adeyemi was about to knock on their door at 4:17 p.m. A gleaming black Bentley Continental pulled up outside the shabby apartment complex. Neighbors stopped. Stared. This car didn't belong here. Mrs. Rodriguez stood on her balcony, watching. Mr. Patterson paused from washing his old truck. The Korean family's kids pointed and whispered. Who died? Maybe someone won the lottery. Israel Adeyemi stepped out. Casual but expensive clothes, jeans and button-down that screamed money even without the suit. His driver Marcus stayed with the car, looking uncomfortable in this neighborhood. Israel walked to apartment 2B with purpose. Climbed the stairs. Knocked 3 times. Patricia Thompson opened the door. Still in her hospital cafeteria uniform. Exhausted, red-eyed from crying earlier. She saw the well-dressed man, the Bentley behind him. Fear flooded her face. Can I help you? I'm looking for Angel and Jessica Thompson. Are you their mother? Patricia's hand gripped the doorframe. What did they do? Are they in trouble? Israel raised his hands. No, no. Nothing like that. Your daughters helped me yesterday. Changed my tire on Route 85. I wanted to thank them properly. Patricia blinked. You're the man from the Mercedes? Yes, ma'am. Israel Adeyemi. May I come in? Patricia hesitated. The apartment was shabby, embarrassing, but curiosity won. Of course. Please. Israel entered and saw everything. Faded furniture. Peeling paint. Worn carpet. But clean, impeccably clean. the eviction notice on the kitchen table, and on the wall, a photo of Sergeant Marcus Thompson in dress uniform. Israel stopped in front of it. "Your husband," Patricia's voice caught, "was Afghanistan 7 years ago this November." "I'm sorry." Genuine grief in his voice. "My assistant told me." Distinguished service record. Patricia's chin lifted despite her tears. "He was a good man. Best man I ever knew. Taught our girls everything. How to be strong, how to help people, how to stand up straight even when the world's pushing you down." Israel nodded. They learned well. He saw the eviction notice clearly now. The stack of bills. The poverty his wealth could end with a single check. But he remembered, we didn't do it for money. Cash would insult them. He needed a different approach. "Mrs. Thompson, may I sit?" Patricia gestured to the worn couch. "Of course. Can I get you something? Water?" "No, thank you. Your daughters refused payment yesterday. But I'd like to help anyway. Not with money. I understand that would offend. But I'm a businessman. I have connections. Resources." Patricia interrupted, voice firm. "Mr. Adeyemi, my daughters helped you because that's how they were raised. Not for reward. Because it was right." Israel leaned forward. "I know. That's exactly why I'm here." He paused. "Mrs. Thompson, do you know where I came from?" She shook her head. "Lagos, Nigeria. 1978. I was 6. My father drove a taxi. My mother sold fruit. We had nothing. When my mother got malaria, we couldn't afford medicine. My father begged a wealthy man for a loan, just 200 naira. That man said, 'If I give money to every poor person who asks, I'd be poor too.' My mother died 3 days later." Patricia's hand went to her chest. "I came to America at 20 with $400. Worked 3 jobs. Built businesses. Now I have money I couldn't spend in 3 lifetimes." He paused. "But I forgot something along the way." "What?" Patricia whispered. "What it felt like to be desperate. Yesterday, your daughters reminded me. 2 young women with nothing helped a stranger with everything. Refused payment they desperately needed. I realized I'd become that man. The one who slammed the door on my father. Not cruel, but disconnected." Israel's voice cracked. "I know you're facing eviction. I know your car broke down. I know because 40 years ago, I was them. People helped me. I told myself I'd pay them back. They said, 'Pay it forward instead.' Your daughters showed me how." "We don't take charity," Patricia said. "It's not charity. It's paying forward. Please, let me explain." Before he could, the door opened. Angel and Jessica walked in. Diner uniforms. Fryer grease smell. Exhaustion. They saw the Bentley. Saw Israel. Froze. "Mr. Adeyemi." Israel stood. "Angel. Jessica. I needed to find you." "How did you find us?" Jessica asked, suspicious. "I'm a resourceful man." He smiled slightly. "Please. I have a proposition." They moved slowly into the apartment, standing protectively near their mother. "Yesterday, you refused $800. Today, I'm offering opportunity." Israel looked at Angel. "You're studying nursing. I sit on Northside Hospital's board. They have a paid program. Full tuition, $2,000 monthly stipend, guaranteed job after graduation. Starting salary $65,000. Angel's mouth dropped. "Jessica, you're studying accounting. My company needs junior accountants. $50,000 starting, full benefits, flexible hours. We'll cover your remaining tuition." Silence. "Why?" Jessica finally asked. "Because 40 years ago, someone gave me a chance I hadn't earned yet. I'm doing the same. And this apartment," Israel continued. "I own properties. 3-bedroom unit, safer neighborhood. You manage building maintenance, 20 hours a week, $1,100 a month. Covers rent." Patricia's hands flew to her mouth. "You're offering us jobs and a home?" Angel whispered. I'm offering what you've already earned. Patricia's voice shook. This is too much. Mrs. Thompson, your husband served 3 tours. Died protecting his unit. This country owes your family more than bureaucracy and $25,000. I can't speak for the country. But I can do this. Silence. Patricia crying openly. What do you get out of this? Jessica asked. Peace. The knowledge I'm not that man anymore. There has to be a catch. Israel smiled. When you're successful, and you will be, you do the same for someone else. Pay it forward. That's everything. Angel looked at the eviction notice. At her crying mother. At Jessica's taped glasses. At Dad's photo on the wall. Can we have tonight to think about it? Of course. Israel handed her his card. Call anytime. At the door, he turned back. Your father would be very proud. You're carrying his legacy forward. That's worth more than any money. Patricia crossed to him. Shook his hand. Thank you. For seeing us. For being the man who opens doors instead of slamming them. Israel's eyes glistened. Thank you for raising daughters who reminded me how to be human. After he left, the 3 Thompson women stood in silence, staring at the business card, at the eviction notice beside it. Did that just happen? Jessica whispered. I think so. Your father would have loved this. They started laughing, crying, holding each other. For the first time in 7 years, feeling hope. Through the window, they watched the Bentley pull away. Mrs. Rodriguez called down, Everything okay? Patricia stepped out. Everything's going to be okay. For the first time in a long time. Inside, Angel traced the embossed lettering on Israel's card. Do we call him? Jessica asked. Tomorrow. Tonight, let's just breathe. And believe. They sat together on the worn couch. 3 women who'd fought so hard for so long, finally allowed to imagine a future that wasn't just survival. 1 year later. Saturday, 4 p.m. Apartment 3C in one of Israel's properties. 3 bedrooms, updated, beautiful. Natural light streaming through clean windows. Modern appliances that actually worked. Furniture that was comfortable, not just functional. On the wall, the same photo of Sergeant Marcus Thompson in dress uniform. Same photo, different wall, better frame. Angel stood in Northside Hospital nursing scrubs, real ones, not a diner uniform. Just finished her shift as a senior nursing student. 2 months from graduation. Already had a job offer, $68,000 starting salary, pediatric unit. She was pinning her hair up, getting ready for the celebration. Jessica sat at the dining table, laptop open, reviewing quarterly reports for Adeyemi Enterprises. Junior accountant, now making $55,000 after her raise. She'd graduated from Atlanta Metropolitan State 3 months ago, summa cum laude. Israel had attended, sat with Patricia in the family section. She was being considered for senior accountant. She'd found her calling. She was brilliant with numbers. Patricia was in the kitchen cooking. Real cooking, not just surviving. Baking chicken, making rice, fresh vegetables. Music playing, first time in years she'd had energy for music. She still worked at Grady Memorial, but now full-time with benefits. Israel had connected her with hospital administration. Salary increased. Health insurance covered everything. For the first time in 7 years, she wasn't exhausted to her bones. She was happy. Through the window, the old Honda Civic sat outside, backup now, sentimental value. Israel had given them, sold for $1, his Mercedes from that night. Every time you drive it, he'd said, remember that kindness travels in circles. They still couldn't quite believe it was theirs. They were hosting a celebration dinner. 1 year anniversary of the day everything changed. Patricia cooking for 20 people. Angel setting the table with matching dishes. Jessica making her grandmother's sweet potato pie recipe, finally had all the ingredients. At 4:30, the doorbell rang. Israel arrived first. Wine and flowers. With him, his driver Marcus, and elderly Mrs. Chen in a wheelchair, the woman who'd co-signed his apartment 40 years ago. Mrs. Chen wanted to meet the women who reminded me of her kindness, Israel said. You girls did good, Mrs. Chen said, accent heavy. Very good. More arrivals. Rosie from the diner, dressed up, beaming. My girls. Look at my girls. Mr. Patterson from the old complex. Mrs. Rodriguez, the patient landlord. The community that had held them together, now celebrating their success. The Korean family arrived with homemade kimchi. Their teenage son, Miss Angel, helped me with my college applications. I got into Georgia Tech. You earned that, Angel said. You believed in me when nobody else did. The cycle continuing. They gathered around the table. Israel at the head, Patricia beside him. Angel and Jessica flanking their mother. Everyone else filling in. Food spread out, abundance where there'd been scarcity. Patricia said grace. Lord, thank you for this food. For this home. For these people who saw us when we were invisible. Thank you for my husband Marcus, who taught our girls to help without expecting anything back. And thank you for showing us that kindness never dies, it just travels in circles until it comes back home. Amen. Israel stood, raising his glass. 1 year ago, I had a flat tire. 2 young women stopped. Changed it. Refused payment. He looked at Angel and Jessica. I thought I was successful. But you taught me, success isn't what you have. It's what you give. Angel stood. Mr. Adeyemi, Israel, you didn't just help us. You showed us what our father's legacy really meant. She looked at Dad's photo. Dad used to say, if you can help, you help. We always thought that meant giving. But you taught us it also means accepting help with grace. Jessica stood. We have news. We've started something. The Marcus Thompson Foundation. Scholarships for children of military families. Patricia gasped. We funded the first 3 ourselves. $3,000. It's not much. It's everything, Israel said. And I'm matching it 5 to 1. Your $3,000 becomes $18,000. Silence. The Marcus Thompson Foundation is going to change lives, Israel continued. Just like your father did. Everyone was crying now. Rosie called for a group hug. They all stood, embraced, odd group from different backgrounds, united by kindness. Later, as guests left, Mrs. Chen held Angel's hand. 40 years ago, I helped Israel because someone helped me. He's stubborn. Took long time to remember. But he remember. At the door, Israel gave them an envelope. Deed to the Mercedes. It's yours. Legally. We can't. You can. Every time you drive it, remember, you saved more than me that night. After everyone left, the 3 Thompson women cleaned together. Music playing softly. You know what I keep thinking? Patricia said. Your father's last words. Take care of each other. Help people. That's what makes us rich. He meant that when you help people, you build community that helps you back. They stood looking at Marcus Thompson's photo. We did it, Dad, Angel whispered. We kept your promise. Angel's phone buzzed. Text from Israel. Anonymous donor saw news about foundation. Contributing $50,000. That's $300,000 with matching, Jessica said. 30 scholarships. 30 kids who'll learn what Dad taught us, Angel said. Help people, and the universe helps back. They looked at the photo again. Marcus Thompson smiling, as if he'd known all along. Kindness never dies. It just travels in circles. Until it comes back home. Thank you for staying till the end. God bless, and please don't forget to subscribe because more interesting stories are up next.